everybody. I am Melissa Forziat of Take the Doughnut, here to help you get inspiration and get donuts. I'm a motivational keynote speaker, but today I'm bringing you a Take the Doughnut interview with the one and only Katie Passo. And Katie is the creator and head donut lady at Rose Dough Donuts in Columbus, Ohio. So first of all, Katie, welcome.
Thank you.
So great to have you here. And I'm going to just start with a simple question, the one we always have to start with. What's your favorite donut?
Oh gosh. I think I'm gonna go with more like traditional, either just a vanilla glazed, yeast raised, or a vanilla old fashioned, because I think I usually, if I'm trying a new place, I'll order something like that along with other flavors just to kind of get a base level of kind of what's the most simple flavor and can you do it really well. So
What's your litmus test, it sounds like?
Yes, definitely.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I gave a quick version of your bio to start, but tell us what you want us to know. Is there more we need to know about Katie Passo?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing and one of the reasons why I resonated with kind of your message and your story is I think I kind of took the donut myself to start this business. I was in the corporate world in public relations for probably, I don't know, 17, 18 years. That's what I went to school for. That's what I thought, I wanted to do. I worked my way kind of up the ladder in that field, but started to get burnt out. And especially during the pandemic, wanted to kind of reassess some things and see what I wanted to do for the future. So I had always loved baking, started doing it, making donuts at home during the pandemic. And we had lots of time, so I kept kind of practicing and making more and more, and thought that there might be a business opportunity there back in my hometown of Columbus. So at the time we were living in Chicago. And then after the pandemic, decided to kind of move back to be closer to family and start this business. So that's kind of how we got to where we are today.
A lot of big changes all at once. And what a time to do it when everything was shifting so much.
Yeah, I mean, I had decided to actually leave my PR job like kind of just before the pandemic, and then a few other things happened, and then it was like, okay, time to think about my next step. And then we were in lockdown, and so I think if you're talking about making that leap, taking the donut, I just felt like I had nothing to lose, I guess, except time and money. But I didn't want, like a lot of people say, I didn't want to wake up at 60 or 70 or 80 and say, oh, why didn't I try that? And actually I have a friend who just put out on social media that, she's going to go back to school, totally different field, but, it's going to take her 6 summers to do this. And then she wants to start her own children's theater company or, choir, for children. And I was thinking, oh gosh, she's going to be 50 in 6 years, but then I was like, why are you I was like doing an ageism type thing. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's not too late. People change careers and even older than 40, 50, and I think that that's a good message for people because you don't have to stay, on one ladder going up. There can be different kind of paths on the monkey bars or whatever, jungle gym, to kind of get to what you want to do and be happy with.
It's so true. Well, you've been alluding to it already, but the topic of this conversation is take the donut, which you can do literally, but also for me, it's an expression that effectively means carpe diem. It's alluding to a story from my college days when I left a donut on a table and it became an actual object lesson for me and what it looks like to leave opportunity on the table. So I'll link that video here in case anybody hasn't seen it yet. But this conversation is about what it looks like to go after opportunities. So you started to talk about that a bit in terms of this last huge opportunity that you've taken, but in general, how are you with going after your goals? What's that process like for you?
Well, I'm definitely like a goal-oriented person. I like, putting something out there and having like a path to it, a timeline, checking things off the list. So, I don't know. I don't know where that comes from, but it definitely helps me operate. And it's something actually like I like. I think it gives structure. Like I definitely have like that feeling of control or structure. So, for me, and then just starting in this business, and it was, like I said, after the pandemic, I told my husband, let's move back to Columbus and start this business. And so I like, put a stake in the ground. I said, let's open our business on National Donut Day 2022. So last year. So we moved in July of 2021. So 2 years ago. I have the business running in 6 months. So I was like 6 months ahead of my goal.
Wow.
So I felt like huge, I was like patting myself on the back. Because I just never even, I thought a year, I gave myself a year, because I've never done anything like this before whatsoever. So starting it early was like a huge, accomplishment. And the fact that we're still doing it now, a year and a half later is awesome. So like we celebrated hard on National Donut Day last year, and then we had a kind of big celebration too on our first anniversary. Which I don't know, people may say it was premature, but hey, I don't care. I was like, I'm just happy that we did what we said we were going to do, and we're doing it well. So.
Well, I mean, you come from the PR world, and I think when you come from PR or marketing, any celebration is a good celebration to share with
Yeah.
your audience and the people who buy your donuts. So I think
Yeah.
congratulations. Not every business makes it a year. And that's really exciting stuff, especially for a business that has a lot of overhead. I'm sure there's a lot
Yeah.
of equipment to buy for a business like yours.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's one thing I think we've been another like a kind of another reason why I thought Columbus would be a good city to do this versus something, like a bigger city like Chicago. Um, they have a couple like shared commercial kitchen spaces, like almost like a incubator for new businesses. So that's where I've still today I'm working out of. So thankfully, I didn't have to invest off the top of like a ton of big bakery equipment because it's a lot of money. And when you're starting something new, there's still, some advice someone gave me was like, you might find out you don't like this or you don't want to do this, So going into like kind of a shared kitchen space like that for a food business, I think is really awesome. And I'm thankful that Columbus has, places like that for people like me. Um, so we're been there like a year and a half. I'm starting to think of the future and plans and, maybe getting our own place or a shared with, two other bakers or something like that. But so that's my next stake in the ground and I'm trying to work towards that. But
Well, when you are working towards a goal, when you've identified something, as we know you like to do, what keeps you motivated as you're going through the process?
I mean, definitely like kind of meeting those milestones or, checking those things off the time. I'm like a big timeline person. So, you know, um, I think, and I think kind of keeping that as your North Star or whatever, and kind of as a path forward is motivating, and also like seeing results, I think that's motivating. So when things kind of go your way or things happen to work out, definitely kind of helps spur me along.
Yeah. Do you ever have challenges? Are there things that present challenges to you consistently when you're going after goals that you have?
Hmm. Um, I mean, I don't think anything, thankfully, consistently, but like one thing that we've just run into recently is we ordered a bigger fryer so that we could make more donuts at one time, like doubling what we were doing right now. And it got here, and first of all, it took 3 months. They were like literally building it. And then it got here, and then we had like the wrong electric in the kitchen, so we had to get an electrician in, and then we plugged it in and it didn't work. So now I had to go back to the factory. So it's just been like, one thing after the other when we're trying to kind of grow and build. And it's definitely been frustrating because the first fryer we had, we literally just plugged it in and has been using it for a year and a half and had no issues. But I don't know why, but for some reason I had like a gut feeling like something was going to go wrong with this big fryer. So I didn't let it upset me too much because I kind of said, hey, I thought something might go wrong. So I know that's not like some kind of piece of advice, but things are going to happen. Not everything's going to go perfectly. Even though like we've kind of been trucking along, and like I don't know if have gotten lucky, but like nothing majorly bad has happened. Knock on wood. So there's going to be bumps in the road, and I think having a good support system, and either with family or friends or other bakers or other people in your industry, is definitely kind of good to talk through things and get things off your chest.
Yeah. Mindset does go a long way, though. If you're kind of braced for the obstacles, it doesn't hit as hard as when you think you've got a straightforward thing that's going to happen. And then suddenly it's like mushroomed into all these other challenges.
Yeah, definitely.
So you might have been talking about it this whole time, but what would you say is the biggest donut you've taken? It could be this recent change that you've made where you sort of threw everything up in the air, or, if you go back in time, maybe it was something personal.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would say really moving, back to a different state and trying to launch this business. I mean, I first of all never have started a business and never done a food business. And so it was kind of a lot at once, but for me, it was I kind of felt like I had promised my husband, like, oh, we're going to move here and I'm going to do this. So I think personally, I was like, well, we can't move here and then, you don't follow through on what you said. So yeah, I mean, opening a donut shop was my biggest donut, I think, so far that I've taken.
Do you have one that you're working on now? Is there a donut you want to take that you're in progress for?
Yeah, I mean, so again, I put another stake in the ground that I would like to be in or find our own space by Doughnut Day 2024. So, and I said this, like a month ago when Doughnut Day was. So I was, again, like trying to give myself a year, like some reasonable time. I think it can be achieved. So I've got a lot of kind of things in the air, like research, talking to people. Like I'm really just like casting a wide net of who I know and resources that I have of how to do this and how to like make it happen. So it's kind of like I'm in like a period of there's a lot going on, but there's not. So I was telling my husband like yesterday, it was like I want to start making stuff happen. Like right now there's lots of talk, So hopefully soon we can start actually making things happen.
Absolutely. Well, probably among the people who are listening to this, there are some people out there who are also trying to take a donut of their own, and they may need some encouragement or advice. So let's go to the sprinkle some encouragement section. What would you say to those people who are just trying to make it happen themselves?
I mean, I would say, just do it. Just take that step, or, take that donut, because if you're able to, like I'm so grateful. My husband is supportive, my family is supportive. I kind of prepped myself to get to the point where I could take that that leap. But you know, and I'm not afraid to say I just turned 44. So like, you know, I had this whole other life, this whole other career. And I don't think it's too late. You know, I was just saying earlier that my friend who's going to be 50 is going to take her leap, you know, her donut. And even my mom who's 70, you know, I just don't think it's too late for anyone, especially women, to kind of change careers or change their life or anything like that. And yeah, go for it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I agree. It isn't too late. And I think that the things that we want to go after might look a little different in
Yeah.
different stages of life, but there's still, you know, if there's something that you have in mind and you don't go for it, what's that going to feel like later? So
Right. Yeah.
I love that you're this example of what that looks like for us. So where can we find you? Where can we find Rose Dough Donuts?
Yeah. Our website, rosedoughdonuts.com, or, you know, of course on social media. We post a lot there just to kind of get the word out. So on Instagram and Facebook, but mostly Instagram if you do that kind of thing. We haven't joined the other new thing, whatever it's called, Threads. I don't think I'm going to.
Fair enough. Website, Instagram, Facebook. We'll make
Yep.
sure we include those links for
Yeah.
everybody. And yeah, everybody make sure to check out those resources and go find Rose Dough Donuts and maybe try Katie's favorite donuts in case you want to have your own litmus test. And if you liked hearing Katie's story, be sure to like and subscribe to this channel because we've got a lot of great interviews coming up, very inspiring interviews of people talking about what it's like to go after opportunity. So Katie, thank you so much for carving out some time today and for talking to everybody about how to take the donut. It's great. It's been great to have you here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, everybody, you know what to do. Get inspiration, get donuts. Bye.